Hello there. Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I had some microphone issues, so do let me know if you can hear me in the chat, please, just in case I need to make some alterations to my microphone. So, hello, everybody. Rob Kent, what's been going on in here? Do I need to look back at this chat or am I better off ignoring it? What the heck, gentlemen? Just let me know if you can hear me, okay? And then we can get on with things because, like I said, my microphone, I've had to put it at a different level. So I'm not sure if it's still working all right. Great. Thanks, Daz. That's awesome. Well, hello there, everybody. It's so nice to see you all. Happy Friday. It is Friday. It's Friday, isn't it? Please tell me it's Friday. It is. Happy Friday. We made it. End of the week. Again, we did it. Yay. Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time visiting, well, hello there. Thank you so much for stopping by my tiny little corner of the internet. I very much appreciate you stopping by. Please jump into the chat. Say good day. We're a very nice bunch here. We've got a fantastic community, and I'm sure somebody will say good day back to you. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't go back. I know Stickman was first. Then it was Stoddy. I'm not going to read the contents. I might read them later on the rerun. Daz, Rob Kent, hey guys. Nicole King, nice to see you. Kaz, no worries. Love to you and to little Miss Adorable. Okay, today I wanted to talk about, it's a bit of a dirty word sometimes, and it was to me when I was first diagnosed with it, having a disability. It's a really tricky one because if you used to be able-bodied, like I was, and then you develop something that changes the way you have to live in the way of accessibility and ability. I don't particularly go for terms like differently abled and things like that because I'm not. I've actually lost the ability to do a lot of stuff. So I more identify with the term disabled. And that's okay. That's just fine. I think of it exactly the same as I would as if I needed a wheelchair. I would need to build a ramp for accessibility. So it's exactly the same, except it's not quite as simple as building a wheelchair ramp. There is no wheelchair ramp I can make to make my brain go back to how it was before I developed PTSD. Now, how I got PTSD kind of does matter because there's lots of different kinds of like subcategories of PTSD. The Walter Reed Institute did an awful lot of research on it. And a lot of abuse survivors will have the sort of disabilities that I have, which are very different. I've spoken to an awful lot of veterans over the years, and we've discussed the differences in our PTSD, and they are very, very different. I have PTSD from prolonged abuse. I suffered abuse for a period of about 7 years, and there was escape attempts in that, maybe about 6 or 7. John Paul knows the actual number of how many orders were breached, because I try not to think about it, to be honest with you. Who I used to be, like the girl on the thumbnail, that was me when I was modelling. I've been a model since I was 13. She's dead, okay? Never expect her to come back. And I know people, my well-meaning friends who knew me then, are like, oh, she's still in there somewhere. No, let her rest in peace. She's dead. She went through so much, she died. I do not even remember who she was, what she used to like, what she used to like doing. I am so far removed from who I used to be. I would prefer it if you didn't measure how well I'm doing based on how much like my old self I am. That's not the measurement I use. The measurement I use is my quality of life. and how much my disability is affecting those around me. So I don't want to have a negative impact on my children. So I have to manage my disability. Some people use their disabilities as an excuse to just behave badly and not be proactive in any way. Other people, you ask them about the weather and they'll be bringing up about their disability. And I'm not like that either. I would prefer people to not know I had one, unless, of course, if I'm just meeting somebody on the street, I don't want them to know that I have a disability if I can avoid it. However, they will soon know if they try to talk to me and I freeze up or I start to flashback or something like that. And there is an awful lots of variety on the spectrum. And I have what I think is known as like a dissociative subtype of PTSD. And that comes from, I was actually, it's been defined as torture, and I was tortured during 2 pregnancies. Now, I'll not tell you any more detail than that, but she's dead. Who I used to be is dead, okay? She's never, ever coming back. So I had to go on a salvage operation. I never expected to survive that relationship. And when I did survive it, I didn't know what to do. I hadn't planned that far ahead. It had been so long since I'd had any choices or planned for a future that I didn't know what I should do. And that's where some people become very, very vulnerable, and they will then accept any sort of behavior because they aren't expecting anything. Anything's better than what they did have. But I had to start dreaming again. I had to start thinking, well, what do I want? What does this Lauren, who is alive now, not her that's dead, want? What does she want from life? What does she want to do? And it's really difficult. Also, I have chronic and complex PTSD with a dissociative subtype, but I don't have any I do disassociate, and I'm doing it now. Can't remember. Anyway, I don't want to get into it too much. There's an awful lot going on with my brain, and I'm very fortunate to actually be alive. I actually have a small brain injury, which has led me to have fibromyalgia, which is another thing on top of it. So you end up with all these different compounding issues. But I think I get by pretty good. Obviously, it affects my life, and it doesn't make my life better in any way. It certainly makes my life more difficult than the average healthy person when they just step out of bed. I have to be very, very aware of how I'm going, and I do have a carer, and they help me manage how well I'm going, gauge how well I'm going, because I also have unspecified eating disorders and that. So if I'm not doing well, there's certain telltale signs. I will hide, I will not eat, I will start to lose an awful lot of weight very, very quickly. And it's not like anorexia, it's not like bulimia. It's actually got to do with having had some really yucky things happen to my mouth, and the textures of food really will just trigger me without me even knowing I've been triggered. So I will avoid things. I will avoid things that give me physical symptoms. And that's actually what I'm working on at the moment with my therapist, but it's got to do with some other normal functions that are triggering me. And you can't tell what's going to happen. You can think something's totally out of your brain, but all of a sudden it'll just pop back up for no reason. I did the eye movement, the EMDR, which was really great for getting rid of some memories, but there are some stubborn memories that have stuck around. It probably helped me get rid of maybe about 50%, which was really good because it was really crippling. But now I'm left with OCD, including some counting rituals and things like that, agoraphobia, which we've talked about before, and things like that. But anyway, this is actually about how I built a life for myself despite all of that. Carl, it's who I am. I'm here now. This is me now. I've already mourned for other Lauren. It just annoys me when people go, oh, you should try and be like you used to be. No, I can't. She's dead. She's buried. Let her rest in peace, please. This is who I am now, and I'm okay. I'm alive. I have a life that I never thought I'd have. Every single day is gravy. I really never thought, I'm almost 50. I never thought I'd get to this age ever. So I didn't dream up a future for this age. So who I am now. Well, I knew I wanted peace. I knew I never ever wanted that a life that was chaotic or awful like a domestic violence life is ever again. So I knew I wanted peace. So I started, I'm just going to show you some little photos in the background of who I am now. Yeah, I'm proud of the current Lauren too. Thanks, Nicole King. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm going fine. But let me tell you, it's hard work. This is maybe 15 years of diagnosis, therapy, working with my professional support network, working with my personal support network, like my sister and my friends and that as well. So it's hard work, okay? Therapy is hard work if you want it to work. You have to do the work. You can't just go to the office and expect it to do its own work. It might trigger something and start something on, but you have to continue that work outside the office for it to work. And I really like new Lauren. She's all right. She just can't do some stuff, and that's okay too. So I took up reading. I really take pleasure in tiny little things. I like just little freedoms I didn't have, like being able to buy my own clothes and buy my own bedding and, you know, cook what I want to cook and enjoy the smell of a cup of tea and things like that. So, and I love nothing more in winter than having my fire lit and sitting there before everyone else is awake with a nice cup of tea. It is our life, exactly. Yeah, see, that's exactly right, Nicole King and Michael Stott. You're both exactly right. It is our life, and we can... life is sink or swim anyway for a normal person, and it's really easy to sink, and I don't blame anyone who does sink, who deals with what we deal with every day. And accepting myself, yeah, that's true. My meltdowns aren't like, say, with JP when he has, because he has PTSD as well. My meltdowns aren't like his. My meltdowns are a disassociative shutdown and a numbness and I don't remember, like when you're driving along and you don't remember driving the last kilometre, when you're on an autopilot, and my life goes like that. I will totally shut down, or I will even physically hide. And this is actually really embarrassing because I hardly ever tell anyone, but I'd hardly do it anymore. There's been a few things that have happened recently that have had me triggered back to, or last year, triggered back to hiding. And in that disassociative state, I will find somewhere to hide, like under a table or behind a door or something. And I don't do that anymore, but it is a bit embarrassing, but I limit what I can do, you know. So by managing my overall mental health, those symptoms sort of settle themselves down. Every time I hear a car door or something like that, I have this OCD ritual about looking through my windows and things like that. And that's where having a carer helps, because then he can help me be satisfied with what I'm doing, or explain to me that maybe I'm just doing a ritual. So I write mail to people. I make mail art. I haven't done that actually very recently, and I need to get back into that because I actually love snail mail. So I try to correspond with other people, other survivors of violence. I'll just send them a little package of love, or a little note, or a little drawing of love. And, you know, for most of the people I send things to are childhood survivors of abuse and things like that. And veterans, I'll send mail to veterans and that, but I do actually have a stack of mail that I have to send off. I've been so poor. I haven't been able to afford it. Yeah, I appreciate that, Nicole King. I have, sometimes I will sort of, my agoraphobia, when that gets bad, I will confine myself to a room, but this is kind of a different kind of hiding. This is like I'm hiding from a threat right now. Like I'm hiding even in my bedroom. I'll get under my bed. You know, it's like, it's really awful. And sometimes I will only just all of a sudden snap out of it and go, Lauren, get out from under your bed. So I have to laugh at myself a little bit because, you know, there is no immediate threat. I just have to deal with it. So That's what I do. I love cooking. Okay, so what you can see in the background now is just like a slice. I love cooking slices and biscuits and that, especially when my children were younger. I loved it because the cooking is actually quite therapeutic. And I found that I'm quite a tactile person. So, like mixing things and watching batters and piping and icing things and that, I found that's quite therapeutic for me and my brain. So I love cooking. I don't so much enjoy eating it. Like I said, I have a few problems with eating, but when it comes to cooking, I love it. And I absolutely love feeding people. I get a great deal of pleasure when they enjoy my cooking, but I don't define myself by how well they like my cooking either. This is me. And this was when I first sort of made myself a little space to make art. And I realized, Lauren, it's like that Harry Potter moment. You're a wizard, Harry. You know, you're an artist, Lauren. You know, I'd been working as a professional artist for like over 20 years. But all of a sudden I realized you're an artist. You are free now to paint and draw and have a space and do whatever you wish, you know, which was actually very, very overwhelming for me. Oh, yeah, I appreciate your hugs, guys. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, Rob Kent. It's so hard because it messes with your brain so much. You know, it's really hard. It's hard to intervene. It's hard to help people in that situation. And it's hard to get away because a lot of people say, why don't women just leave? Well, if you actually looked at the statistics, most women who are actually murdered by an intimate partner, it happens after they've estranged. That's why you don't leave, because the risk just goes whoop, you know they're going to come kill you. It's the risk just is exponentially greater. So it's please never say that to anybody. It's not that simple, okay, to just leave. And like I said, I love feeding people. So for my family, every Sunday I would make like a big brunch. So I'd either put on like a big antipasta or I'd actually cook a roast or something, because I always remember my nana cooking roasts on Sundays for our family. So I love to feed people. I love to put things together and make them look pretty. You know, it's kind of like I make everything art because I figure I'm creating myself here. I'm my own work of art. So I think of myself as a work of art. Everything from how I do my hair, which by the way looks terrible today because I've just been out in the wind, to how mind you, I always wear black, so it's not really that, but to how I act, my tattoos, what I like to do, like how I help veterans, how I love my God. That is all the work of art that is Lauren. So in a way, I get something that old Lauren didn't have. Old Lauren did not have that control over her life to understand that she could build herself. Whereas I am physically on like a reclamation project. It's like trying to rebuild Notre Dame. You know, I am salvaging what I have, which is art, and I like to cook, and I'm just finding the things I like to do, how I like to look, and then I build it. And I think in a way I'm fortunate like that. Old Lauren never knew that. Yeah, exactly, Michael Stott. And that's what I'm sort of talking about. There's things I have much more control over my life to a degree now than what I had before, because I didn't realize I wasn't my own work of art before I became disabled. But now, and it's probably maybe just because I am an artist and you might not understand this, it might be a bit too artsy fartsy, but I am my work of art. My life is my art. And anything that's happened from when I got away, when I developed my disability, to when I die, that legacy, that's all one big artwork. And hopefully when I'm gone, people will look at my whole life as an artwork. I love spending time in nature. Okay, I love getting out there on my own. I absolutely, I will go out in the bush on my own because I feel less frightened out in the bush than I do in a supermarket. It's strange. I haven't done it for a while because the fibromyalgia has been pretty bad in the last couple of years, and it just makes it a bit impossible. But sometimes with JP, we'd go out there. He's really great to go in the bush with. Nothing better than just nothing around you and some billy tea. and some damper. That's the so healing to just do that, because everything sort of stops, and all that urgency, which really does my head in, like in the real world admin, is actually something I haven't been able to fully gain control of. My carer helps me with my admin, because it is something that just I will, if ever I'm going to feel like ending it, it's because of admin. So we manage it. My carer helps me with what I need help with. But if I go out somewhere where there's no one and I can just have some billy tea and that, that stops. That just stops, because it's not out there. There's nothing existing out there but me, the wallabies, the platypus, the echidna, my billy tea. And I love flowers. In case any of you who are friends with me on Facebook and that will understand, I love my garden. I love flowers. I love it when gentlemen send me flowers. Now, a lot of people might think they send me flowers for romantic reasons, which, sometimes I get admirers sending me flowers. But mostly it's because I've done something to help them. I love to help veterans and veteran organisations and that, and I will never, ever tell anybody what I've done to help. Because I'm a person of faith, I believe I shouldn't be telling everybody all my good deeds, because then I've already got my reward. I should actually it's not about me, it's about them. So usually when I get gifted a bunch of flowers, it is because they actually are just saying thank you to me for a cartoon, or for me making a video for them, or something else. So, and it's lovely. We have this beautiful underground relationship with my veteran friends. Hey, Warlord of Shanglu, I see you there. I hope everything's going good. And I started drawing my story, and I thought, I couldn't complete it. It was too traumatic, actually. I've never been able to fully write my story or draw it down. I did try, but I couldn't complete it. But I did end up with some very, very beautiful pictures, illustrations like the one behind me. And I always love having a nice space. So I always love having fresh flowers in a vase. So I grow most of my own fresh flowers, so I can give myself flowers anytime I like. I don't need other people to give me flowers, but I appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you very much. And again, like I said, I love cooking. And now that I have granddaughters, I absolutely love cooking with them. I love cooking for them. My daughter and I get in the kitchen together, and my granddaughters get in there with us, and we'll be making fresh pasta, or we'll be making cakes or sweets or pies or amazing things, because we love cooking. We love being in the kitchen. We love feeding our whole family. We love making feasts, and then everyone sits together and enjoys it. Again, drawing. There seems to be a bit of a reoccurring theme with me, and people might mistake them for butterflies, but they're not. They're moths. And, I know that moths have an awful lot of negative symbolism attached to them, but for some reason, ever since I have become disabled, moths are kind of like my spirit animal. I don't know why, because normally in symbolism they're kind of like destroyers and that, but for me I think they're so underrated. Their beauty is underrated. They wear these fur coats and they have these beautiful colors and that, so I don't know why. I don't destroy anything. Not that I know of. Flowers, again, truly love. These are from my garden. I grow poppies, I grow roses. In fact, do you know what? The weather's been so strange here lately. My roses are still blooming. Now, normally they start to bloom, around just before Melbourne Cup time, same as Flemington. But then they have gone all year, all winter. They are still blooming. So it's been a really strange year for my roses. I watch it change year by year, how things fruit, how things change. And I guess it's a slow life in nature that really helps me. The current events that I'm interested in is when my locusts are going to fruit, or how my pomegranate is doing this year, and things like that. That's my favorite. This actually was the most delicious lemon slice I have ever cooked and eaten, and it's become a family favorite since then. But like I said, we do like to do cooking together. I love it. I've found that's something new Lauren loves to do, is pretty good at. People like to eat my cooking, and I get a great deal of pleasure out of doing it. Flower arranging. Now, my daughter and I do an awful lot of flower arranging. Again, these are all from my garden, and we'll get ourselves some tea, and we'll fill the whole table with our flower arranging, and it feels like a very, I suppose, old-fashioned thing to do. It feels like it's something that maybe our mothers' might have done together, and my daughter and I and my granddaughters, we still do that. And it's kind of lovely and gentle, because I'm a very feminine woman. I am a real girly girl, and that's something I've really realised. And people tell me that old Lauren used to be as well, but like I said, she's dead. But this Lauren is also very, very feminine. Painting again. And there's another thing. See, if you look in the background of that photo, you'll see my name signed with a love heart as the O. And without realizing it, I've been doing that since I was a teenager. So I get why people say, oh, I see old Lauren in there. She's not. That's just something, a bit of flotilla that I salvaged to make this ship that I am now. And I think I try to be patient with them, because there is absolutely no way that they could possibly understand what it's like to live with what we live with unless they've experienced it. And I wouldn't wish it on Kim Jong-un. I wouldn't wish it on our worst enemy. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Still building tattoo machines. I can't be in the industry like I used to be. So I'm in the industry in other ways. I do build tattoo machines. I am contracted to a company in the US to be drawing tattoo flash. I still design tattoos. So I keep my feet in the industry because I spent so long in the industry that it's like second nature to me. And to be honest with you, having that trade is kind of what helped me stay alive when old Lauren died. That was really the beginning of new Lauren. So it's something I still do, and I do it for fun while I'm having tea and roses. Doesn't everyone just have tea and build tattoo machines? Oh, look at my pomegranates. I love growing my own pomegranates. Now, I don't particularly like eating them as just fresh fruit like they are. I love putting them in salads and things like that. How do you guys eat your pomegranates? Do you grow pomegranates? I love it, because in the autumn, they start to lose their leaves, but you get these big red globe fruit, right? And then in the winter, this tree is totally bare, except for these big giant red baubles all over it. So the tree itself is beautiful. So watching my garden and how it changes, and growing things and watching them grow, like this pomegranate tree I grew from a tiny little thing, and they take I think it took about 2 years to get any fruit, and then it only got one, but now it gets heaps of fruit. I get so many pomegranates, I give them away. So, which is actually a really nice problem to have. But she wouldn't need to steal them, Nicole. I could give her bags full of them. I love growing them. I'm so proud of them because I started with a tiny, tiny little thing, and I'm so proud of it. Same as most of my plants. So it's like watching, was it Audrey Hepburn who said to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow? So I think it kind of is part of my healing process, watching my garden grow. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. That kind of suits me, I think. Of course, every year, Anzac Day is a massive day. I always have veterans over at my house, and we always play two up. I always make lots of little sandwiches and sausage rolls and party pies and that for them to enjoy. But the veteran story, I was hurt by a veteran with PTSD. And the fact that veterans are the ones who have helped me heal and still crowd around me and still love me and say that they are sorry that happened to me has in itself been a healing process. Their story is my story, and I'm certain I'm not the only veteran spouse who the line between veteran caregiver and abuse survivor has become mixed in the Venn diagram of what's acceptable and what's not. So I can't be the only one, but it has been a real. I've never met one veteran who hasn't said sorry to me for what happened to me. I'll have to move right along, or I'm going to get tears of happiness from how wonderful all my veteran friends are. Again, reading. Now, I will read heaps. I read an awful lot. If I can't sleep, I will read. I'll try to read rather than, especially nowadays, than watching a YouTube or something, because I've been getting some very, very bad dreams lately, terrible nightmares. Again, it's maybe not a bad thing because our brain's processing, but you just can't pick and choose when or where it processes, which you can wake up feeling more exhausted than you were before you went to sleep, and that does not set you off for a good day. But I've been reading these old books. Now, these old books actually belong to my grandmother, so I've actually been thoroughly enjoying turning the pages that she would have turned. So, and that's something I can promise you old Lauren would have never done. So, I appreciate little tiny things a lot more than I used to. Again, drawing. This is Tattoo Flash. Again, I've always got a cup of tea. I probably drink too much tea. I probably should try and do that. My carer keeps saying I probably should try and... Are you crab it to it? Me too. You know what I'm really bad at? Crown and anchor. Whenever those dice come out, I'm out of there, because even though I have a veteran helping me, because I still don't understand it, I can't do it. I've never won at it at all. I draw every day. So I will be either drawing Tattoo Flash, like these are drafts for my contract, or I'll just be drawing bookmarks, or I'll be drawing paper dolls for little girls, or I will be drawing things to send to people. And sometimes I just draw. Sometimes I draw my plants. I love drawing my botanicals, my garden. I actually have a garden diary, which my children are fighting over who gets to have it when I'm dead. That's fine. It's not morbid. It's fine. I'd rather know who's getting everything before I'm gone than there be fights about it afterwards, That's true, Stoddy. Yeah. And I actually I do spend a lot of time, I have big self-care rituals, and it's like I have bath time rituals, I have bedtime rituals, I have morning rituals. And if I don't do them, not only does my OCD doesn't allow that, okay, I don't even stop to think what might happen if I don't follow these certain rituals. What happens? I'm really sorry to hear that, Shanglu. You're starting a cult. Right. Well, I hope you went to the police about that. But I would actually suggest don't start a cult, because you know what? I reckon that's overrated. You're the one who has to have all the responsibility for everything your cult does. There would be I would hate to be a cult leader. I don't know why you'd even want to. But you should go to the police about if you've been attacked, for sure. Also been, attacked with a sword and an axe. So I understand if that has happened to you. I'm very, very sorry. You should definitely go to the police, no matter how hard that process is for you. But don't start a cult. That's like something really insecure people do. I didn't realize you were so insecure. Don't you think? You shouldn't need worshippers around you to be okay. You should be okay with yourself. You shouldn't need sycophants to be telling you, yeah, you're so great all the time. But good luck with it. If it's what you choose to do, just make sure it's not too... Well, no, every cult's dangerous, aren't they? I can't think of one that isn't. Why don't you start a church or something instead and get the tax-free status? That would make more sense. But I tend to think you may just be trolling us. Now, I love drawing things I see. I love drawing birds. I don't know about you guys. I actually am an avid bird watcher. Now, John Paul, having been a sniper, he's a great bird watcher, and he actually taught me how to do bird watching. And ever since then, if I'm going to be staring out the window from my PTSD anyway, I may as well watch the birds. So that's what I do. I watch the birds, and sometimes I will draw them. Sometimes I just draw fantasy birds too that don't really exist, but I wish that they would. And I love playing with my granddaughters. My daughter and I will sit there for hours, and they put on all my junk jewelry. This is my youngest granddaughter's hands, and they love dressing up. They look like little gypsies by the time they're finished. By the time they're finished putting on all of my junk jewelry, they love it. We have fantastic games. We pretend to be Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Again, tea. I like all kinds of tea, everything from Lapsang Souchong. I enjoy a Russian caravan tea. I like, my favourite at the moment is Australian afternoon tea. Melbourne breakfast tea is really nice, by the way. If you're a tea lover, get some Australian tea. And I have, like I think John Paul's told you all before, I have a really large collection of religious icons. And I'm actually not even Catholic, but they're just very beautiful to me. And I view them as, we could do a video on that, Michael Stott, on colour, on some colour theory and that, for sure, or on some watercolour, sure. Like I said, I'm self-taught, but if you'd like to know how I do things, I'm happy to show you. It might work for you as well. So, for sure. Like I said, I had someone ask for some more, if I could give some more explanation on how I do. Yeah, that's so good for you, Michael Stott. Have a go at some Lapsang Souchong. It's an acquired taste, and it tastes really smoky, and you might have to get used to it, but that's really good for your belly, I think. Yeah. Do you know, the colour wheel, yes, but it's also how you use the colours, especially with watercolour. It's about how you use the gradients, where you do the drops. It depends on what you're painting, how you're painting it, what you want it to be. Yeah, you see Nicole King, I work entirely differently. There's no guesswork for me. Everything is mapped out before I do anything. I already know how it's going to look at the end before I begin. But then again, we do very, very different styles of art. I do like the photorealism and realistic and traditional, neo-traditional, and yours is I do abstracted things, but still I already know what it's going to look like. I know what my palette is going to be, and I know how, because you should be keying colors. If you put a little bit of color here, you should put a little bit there. Even if you put a lot of red here, just put a dot of red up there. It'll key the colors. It'll make a difference. Yeah, I should definitely do that, Michael Stott. I will, for you. Again, like I said, I maybe have given up on finding love. Mainly because I'm a disabled woman. I'm not going to call it baggage, because it's not. It's who I am. But I might not be able to give to that person what they want or what they are looking for in a relationship. And that is mainly why I think I'll just be comfortable living on my own at the moment. But it doesn't mean I'm hopelessly romantic. Like I said, I love receiving flowers from gentlemen. I love poetry. I love things like that. I don't like soppy movies, though. I'm not one of those people. Here I am reading the graphic novel of The Walking Dead. So, I'll read anything. I love reading so much. This is my homemade baklava. Baklava is like my favorite sweet to eat. Do you guys like baklava? Yeah, I don't need another person. I love myself without sounding awful. I like my own company. I like being able to I like being the master of my own ship, damn it, nowadays, And I'm not saying that in a relationship that doesn't have to be that way, but maybe because of my past experiences, I'm a little bit shy. Yeah, I love baklava. So I learned how to make it. However, my baklava is nowhere near as good as Blood Red Rose's baklava. She makes the best baklava. Mine's just a real quick cheater's way of making it. She goes to so much effort. Her baklava is, I love it. In fact, I really need to get her to make me some. Here's some more Billy tea, but this time I had JP out there with me. So we just little rock for a table. It's the best to get out into nature. Oh, baking bread. I love baking bread too. So I don't know if can you see my loaves there? See my loaves of bread? I love baking bread because I love this. I love how it makes my home smell. And I love the fact that my kids want to eat it when it's hot still. You know, they'll put butter on it straight away and Vegemite or jam. And they're gone before they're cooled down. So I still have to buy sliced bread. Don't worry, I can't bake enough to fill everybody up. But I just wanted to finish up by telling you that my life, even with a disability, is beautiful. I lead a beautiful life because I value beauty and I value peace, and I make every day a bit of a sanctuary, because when those times come that are dark, and they will come, that's just how it is. And it doesn't even have to be from life's normal ups and downs. They can just come up on you. I feel, for me, I have a better chance of bouncing back in that sanctuary I've made for myself. And I find that I have an anchor of knowing who I am. And it's not who I was. I've no idea who she is. I'm missing most of my memories. And I've no wish to find them again. Like, we're working, my therapist and I are working on like the Babette, Stoddy probably knows what I'm talking about, Babette Rothschild sort of reconnection between my brain and my body. And she says that remembering is not required for moving forward. So I have no intention to remember, and I do not want to. And I absolutely value every little thing in my life. And that is a conscious effort and conscious decision. And here's something else you should know. If you don't have a disability, be very, very careful not to... If someone with PTSD says something to you, makes a point to you, please don't just go for the low-picking fruit. Please don't just say... Don't gaslight them. Don't say, oh, you're being irrational. Are you okay? Is this because of your PTSD? No, maybe they've just got a very valid point. Don't do that, because even Australia's court system will do that. I had to be a witness for something. Someone admitted to me and John Paul that they had actually raped someone, and they admitted it to us. And when it came time to being a witness... We both have PTSD. We're no good as witnesses. So that poor person, we're willing to help. We know what happened. We both were there at the same time. But the court system really needs to educate itself better on mental health. And it also needs to make it easier for people who have mental health not to be gaslit by the system. But anyway, on that note, I hope that you enjoyed having a little tiny peek at what my life is like as new Lauren. And it's okay. R.I.P. old Lauren, you know, R.I.P., you know, sad, but here I am. It's like a phoenix. All right, guys. Yeah, exactly, Michael. Stop. Please don't limit me because I have a disability either. I'll let you know if I can't do something. I have a carer who knows when to maybe push me a little bit or when to not. I don't need your help or your wisdom, Joe Blow on the street who doesn't know what they're talking about. Don't worry. I've been doing this for a while now. Got doctors. It's a real thing with doctors and everything. I can't remember what that's from. It's from a movie. Anyway, okay, I'm going to get out of here. We've been gabbing for so long. Yeah, you know what? She's all right, isn't she, Daz? I like her. You know, and she's changing all the time. Still disabled, but you know, so what? So what? Okay? No, thank you for listening. Thank you for being so awesome, guys. I know that a lot of you out there struggle with your own things. And yes, I feel like that too, Stoddy. So I just wish I had a little pink cloud I could fly around on. Might make the agoraphobia easier. All right, guys. And it is Friday, so I won't be back tomorrow unless on the weekend, which I probably won't have any time. I'm still helping Blood Red Rose with her logistics. But we're going to try and video a scary game for you all. Again, because you love that one. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. We've been talking for ages. Thank you so much. You are actually all really awesome. You guys give me community. Without you guys, I really wouldn't have any socialization at all. Was a bit embarrassed to say that before, but it's out there now. I said it before in my other video. You guys are great. You're my community. Have a fantastic weekend. Be good, stay safe, and I hope you have wonderful weather, and I hope you have wonderful plans, and I will see you next week. And we'll definitely do some art. We'll definitely do some art next week, Michael Stott. Love you. Bye.